Hey, welcome to the Business Beauty Network podcast where business meets beauty. Welcome. I am super excited to bring a new episode to you. But before we get into that, make sure that you are subscribed to the Business Beauty Network podcast wherever you're listening or watching. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and don't forget to share it. If you know someone who would benefit from this awesome content, make sure you share it out and leave us a review on Apple and Spotify so that other people can find us. A written review is greatly appreciated. Now that all of that is out of the way, I have an awesome episode in store for you today. I did a recording with Coach Mariah, Mariah Headquest. She's another host on a podcast. I have absolutely been loving Mariah's episode. She's been dropping some knowledge, and I hope you guys have been loving it too. Let us know. Leave a review for Mariah and let us know what you think of her episodes as well. We would love to hear from you and learn more about how you're enjoying those, as well as you can connect me at hello@businessbeautynetwork.com. And you can visit our website at businessbeautynetwork.com. So make sure you connect with me there. And I just want to kind of reintroduce myself for those of you who may be new to the podcast, because I know we've gained quite a few new listeners. I am the host of the podcast, and I started this podcast back in 2019 because I wanted to change the conversation around what it took to run a successful business for beauty professionals. And I wanted to empower beauty professionals and highlight successful beauty business owners. And the networking piece is us just connecting with other people that are in business that can actually help add value to the community. So I am really strong about, helping and empowering this community. And that's a part of my mission. I am also a coach. I'm a business coach, and I specialize in sales and marketing. That's like my sweet spot. So I talk a lot about marketing and how to show up and how to brand your business and all of those things. So that's my specialty. And Mariah, she is a guest host, and she's also a coach for hairstylists. So she's a lifestyle coach for hairstylists. And so she helps you focus on the total person. And she's having a chat with me on today. We pre-recorded this like just before Christmas. And we were really talking about like how the beauty industry has shifted. Like it's been a shift, like things are changing within the industry. So we were just kind of having a conversation about some things that we've been talking about with our clients and also things that we've been seeing amongst ourselves. And of course, Mariah is still in the industry, so she shared a little bit of that as well. So I think you're really going to enjoy this interview and conversation with Mariah, because Mariah is no special guest. She's always here on the podcast. So I hope you enjoy our conversation. We absolutely enjoy bringing this content to you. So make sure you connect with us, you share it out, subscribe, and follow both of us on social media. On Instagram, I am Brandy Taylor, and I don't know Mariah's by heart right now, but I will have it connected somewhere below in the show notes or something. But make sure you connect with us. But now that all of that is out of the way, here is today's episode. Hey, welcome to the podcast. I am super excited to come with my co-host today, Mariah. Welcome, Mariah.
Hello, everybody. Excited to be here.
Yes. So we're winding down 2023. I can't believe it. It seems like this year has flew by. I know we always say that, but I swear 2023 did fly by.
No, I agree. I feel like I do say that all the time, but it's like, how is it already December? I don't know.
Right. Exactly. So before we get into the episode, are you done with your Christmas shopping? Like, what's that like?
I would say halfway. So like as of recording today, we're like 4 days away from Christmas. We have half of my family taken care of. My in-law side, so my husband's side. My side still in limbo. So they might get theirs a little IOU from Santa this year.
Oh wow. I took the stress out of Christmas years ago, and I kind of keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
So for like my in-laws and the family, I usually just send like gift baskets, and I have a variety of different places I get them from.
Yeah.
And or I'll send like little gifts, like different things like devotionals and different things I send out. So I usually have a plan for whatever I'm sending out that year. And that keeps me from being in the stores and all of those things. The only people I typically have to do shopping for is my husband and daughter. You know, and I usually kind of do that like along the way. So I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good this year. So I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, last year we were really on top of it. Thanks to my husband. He usually can kind of be the feet on the ground and go out, but his business has grown this year, so both of our time was just stretched, and we'll get it done. We always come through and figure it out, but we're gonna have to maybe borrow from your strategy for next year.
Yes, it works. People
Yeah.
seem to be happy, and it makes me happy not to have to deal with it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. So what I wanted to talk about today was, as we both know, the industry has shifted. The beauty industry has definitely shifted. I think because the world has shifted.
Yes.
The last few years, we've had a lot of changes in the world, and people are changing the way they spend their money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's affecting the beauty industry. So I want to kind of talk about like some of the things that you've been noticing, maybe in your business or maybe with your clients.
Yeah. So most of my clientele has been long-standing clients. But this year, I have seen some of those people venturing out to other stylists. I'll say that. And some of them did the typical, like, just, I have to cancel, I'll get back to you. And then they don't show back up. But then some people, which I think is really beautiful, have been honest with me and said, like, I moved from a team-based salon into a suite a couple years ago, and they were saying, I kind of miss the vibe of the salon space, and I just want maybe something a little bit different. And so, I'm gonna go out and see what my options are. And I think that as much as it hurts to feel like you're losing someone, or these are people that I've had for years and years, the fact that they felt comfortable enough to say that to me in that way, I think is cool. Like, so, no bad blood and no love lost between me and any of those folks. But I've been seeing some shifts on my books, just for what people are interested in, what they're looking for, the environments that they want their services done in. I specialize in color. So some of my clientele that don't get color services anymore, they're not a great fit for how my business is set up. And so, it's just shifts and changes, and people seem to really be into the whole digital aspect. Like, they like the digital marketing. They like the emails that I send out. They love the fact that I offer online booking. And they don't have to get on the phone and like talk to a receptionist. So like, it seems like there's this kind of lean into the digital stuff, but they also still value that personal connection. So it's really interesting. And from a like a financial perspective, some folks being honest about their budgets and saying, hey, I can't come in with the same frequency, but like, what can we do to fit this in? Like, here's what I'm working with. Can you help me? And so, yeah, just adapting and changing, and little shifts here and there.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I think the shifts were always there because we're in a service-based industry. Therefore, people can always go to somebody else, or they can move away, or different situations. Like, I went to a lady for years, but then when I went natural, I no longer, went to her because she didn't do natural hair.
Right.
So it was just no longer a good fit.
Right.
And so those things happen all the time. But I do think because our economy has been affected, and the inflation and all of those things that are going on, that people are being a little bit more conscious about how they spend their money. And it might be not just because they want to, but because they have to. Things have shifted, so they have to kind of shift the way they, plan those things out. And it's great that your clients have been letting you know that. And another thing I wanted to touch on too was I had this conversation before, but you went from like a salon space, and some people like that, like salon experience, like they like going in and socializing with other people,
yeah,
and whatever it may be, they like the whole, experience. And some people could have it either way. They don't mind just it being one-to-one contact with that person and a stylist. but it's not always a good fit for every client.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when you are going into a suite, those are some things that you could consider when you're, having a suite versus being in a salon, like the type of clients that you're going to work with. Because sometimes, clients, I have heard that before, they like the whole salon experience.
Yeah. Yep. I have some people, they're like, I just like to like people watch and,
Mhm.
being in the community. It's a lot of local folks that maybe it's their neighbor or their friend or whoever that they run into in the salon. And so I can understand that. And I think that that's where it's really important for us as service providers to know that that's a possibility, and then to have a plan in our back pocket to execute, to just roll out um, if we see those types of things happening on our books. So we're not sitting in this place of like, wait a minute, I blink and I feel like my clients are suddenly gone. Where did they go? For whatever reason, but always something in the back of our mind, a strategy to keep our business maintaining it and to be able to keep growing it too, no matter what happens with the economy, with customer behavior, with whatever, having a plan to work.
Right, right. I agree with that. And that's something I'm working on too, is helping. I'm putting together a planning session that's I'm going to be hosting in a few weeks. And what it is I realize is that I remember being in business and just kind of going with the flow, servicing my clients, doing my thing. But like I really didn't think about promoting my business all the time
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning. It was just, I had my clients and I was servicing my clients. But then maybe I would have a slower season, and then I'm all like, okay, well maybe I could promote this, or maybe a holiday would come up, and I'm like, okay, Mother's Day is in 2 weeks. What can I do for Mother's Day, right? So then I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I promote? But if you have a strategy in place, and because one thing, from year to year, things usually they may fluctuate a little bit, but they usually kind of stay the same in your business. So if certain times a year is slower, certain times there's certain holidays every year, that come every year, you can say, okay, for January, it's a new year, new me. What type of stuff can I provide for the new year? Then February, so on and so forth, and kind of plan this out. And I think now more than ever, you kind of have to have some type of plan and strategy to stay top of mind, to consistently attract new clients.
Yeah.
So that's something that you definitely need to do. But what I want to talk about as well is, because it has shifted, it's not just about attracting the clients. How do we keep them?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a big one too. The maintaining of the clientele, because of course, like bringing in new business, and I don't have like stats or whatever, but general rule of thumb from, classes I've taken and so on is it typically costs you more money to bring in new folks because you're marketing and then your time, and if you're running ads and whatever, and then it takes time to build that relationship factor to then turn them into a maintained client. And your clients that already come see you, that you have retained, they already know you, they already like you, they already trust you, they're more likely to spend more money with you in your business, which is amazing. So there's an opportunity there to increase your income on both fronts with new people and people you already have. However, given the circumstance that we're in, like how you were talking about people being a little bit more choosy with how they're spending their money and where, those retained clients, they're going to be expecting a different level of service. And it's interesting because then it's like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that I have to like now give them whatever they want, start giving stuff away for free? Do I have to become like a doormat now and, just like be at the mercy of what the clients want? No, I don't think we need to do that. We tried that already and that didn't work. We tried that in the past and that doesn't work. But I think it's just like there's this real opportunity here to connect with people on a deeper level that's still professional. And I think in order to do that, we can't be like distracted or doing this multitasking during the service, which lends to having our basically having our stuff together on the back end so that when we're present with those clients on that day when we're working in our spaces, we can be fully there, not thinking about all the other things that is on our to-do list, so that they feel like they're just really taken care of. And you can pay attention to the details of what they're saying, maybe about their skin, about their hair, about themselves, or even to the degree of just little things that they like, so that you can create more personalized, customized experiences for them where they feel like, wow, that was really a really thoughtful thing. Like they really are listening to me. They really do care. So I'm going to stay here with my person versus looking for someone else.
I love that. Really paying attention to your client. And like you said, being all in and finding different ways you can enhance the service that way, just the little things. Like I would randomly, like my client, for their birthday, I would like my client, one of my clients, she would always come with her Starbucks. So of course I gave her like a Starbucks card for her birthday,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And just different ways I can, help her. There was something that she would always bring up to me. And so I would check on her and see, how was that going without, getting too personal, but just kind of check on her, make sure she's good. But building like a client relationship, making her feel comfortable and giving her a tailored experience based off of her needs.
Yes.
And I think, that's something we really have to get back to. And I love that you don't have to be a doormat, or you don't have to, give them nothing for free necessarily all the time or anything like that. But there's different ways that you can elevate the experience and personalize it in a way that, will help you stay connected. And then what you could do is you probably already have your regulars. You have people that love you, that come to you, and they're your VIPs. How can you take care of them, right? How can you take care of them and, do like maybe customer appreciation days for your VIP clients? Make it special to be a VIP client. And then also just finding ways to learn how, if you don't know how to enhance that customer experience, survey the client, ask the client, find out, okay, what are some ways that I can, make your experience even better here? And
Yes.
start asking questions, and don't be afraid of the answer. Just start asking everybody questions and finding out some ways you can make it better. You could even like on your VIPs, maybe you could just ask them 5 quick questions. Be like, hey, Mary, can you answer these 5 quick questions? Because I'm trying to see how I can just make your service better. And because, Mary's a regular, she loves you, she'll answer them for you. And go ahead and do that. And that can help you. And even if you just get 5 to 6 people to kind of fill it out, maybe you get 10 of your clients to fill it out. That kind of give you some data. You like, I see a trend there, because I've done that before. And I seen a trend where certain people were saying certain things. So I was like, okay, that's something I want to level up. It wasn't necessarily bad, but I want to improve my customer experience in this area because based off of the questions I asked, I saw a trend within my guests. But that's some ways that you can kind of find out if you want to know how to make it better, how to retain them, ask them.
Absolutely. Because we spend all this time stressing ourselves out, trying to figure out what to do. How do I change this? How do I make this better? Or we spend a lot of time like scrolling on social media, looking at, well, what are other people doing, which could be helpful. You could get some inspiration and could also backfire against you and be like, oh my goodness, well, they have it together. And here I am feeling like I don't know which way is up. So rather than that, going directly to the people that you are providing the service for, I've done the same thing. That's how I ended up with retail on my shelves. Because when I started in my suite, I didn't bring in-house retail. I sold it online just from like a logistical, financial standpoint of what did I want to bring in, what's going to be on my shelves and so on. And so I asked them just some quick questions, and retail was a trend. They said, we'd like to have some products available so we can buy them when we're there and then, be on our way. So I brought it in. It's not a big deal. And those people are immediately satisfied. They know that they wrote their answer in there and they see the result. So it's like, oh, wow, they really are listening to me. My voice is valuable here. And, I like, they feel important in that kind of way. But yeah, take the guesswork out of it and just ask them. But like you said, don't be afraid of the answers. one thing that I think we do in our industry, and I think it's just this really interesting, I'm going to talk about this on one of my solo episodes, but the that professional personal relationship between us and our clients at dance that we have, where sometimes professionally we need to know this information, but then if somebody says something to us and they are a long-standing client and it's not an answer we were expecting, it feels like, how could they say that to me? Like, it feels so over personal. And so we cleaning that up a little bit so that, I mean, if it stings, it stings, but it's not personal. This is information that you want to know, because if you don't know it, you can't do anything about it. And if you can't do anything about it, then, you're missing out on an opportunity to really take their experience to the next level. And it could be something super duper simple and easy. It could be something that a change you could make that doesn't even cost money. It could be like a simple logistical change or a procedure change or just like anything. So you want to know, don't be afraid of those answers, giving them that space to be honest with you. That's basic relationship building 101, and this is a professional relationship, but this applies for like all of our relationships in our lives too. Creating a safe enough space where the other party feels that it's okay to be honest and they're not going to be like retaliated against. So you're not going to text them back and be like, I can't believe that you said that on my survey. Like, how dare you? I'm a professional. Not saying that any of you guys would do that, but sometimes we want to. Like, if we're being honest, sometimes we want to, but no.
Use it as a learning moment, and
yes.
just use it as a learning moment, and don't take it too personal, but do what you can to, make any changes that you see fit based off of what your clients are telling you. But I don't think many people do that. And it could just be that simple thing to help you to enhance, the type of experience that you're giving to your clients, and just to ask them, how can I make this better?
And I think that too, like when you have been in the industry for a while and you kind of have moved out of that initial building stage where there's all that, maybe like when you freshly graduate and there's all that excitement and it's just like, wow, I'm getting clients, I'm building my books, like I can see my career, in front of me. When you get past that and you have consistent clientele and so on, it can be really easy to fall into autopilot and kind of just like go through the motions. So when you have the opportunity to make a change, not only does it make the experience more intriguing for them, it also makes it more intriguing for you too. Like it can get boring doing the same things over and over and just kind of like, Groundhog Day versus the challenge of, okay, how can I be innovative here? How can I create something unique? How can I, just adjust and acclimate to customer demand or market trends and so on. So it can make it a more exciting experience for you too as the service provider.
Yes. What I've been thinking a lot about as we are going into a new year, everybody's getting ready. I'm sure you have your goals and all of those things, but I just been thinking about, okay, the next level and where I want to take my business. And the question that I've been asking myself is like, who do I need to become in order to get to that level? Yeah. Like, who do I need to become? And just looking at like the type of person I want to be in my life and in my business, and some of the goals that I want to achieve is going to require me to make some changes in every area of my life. And it's going to require me to become a different type of person so that I can get to the next level, because what got me here won't get me there, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So I think a lot of us need to kind of look at that and say, okay, even when you think about maybe you want to attract a different type of client, or maybe you have plans for increasing your rates in 2024, who do you need to become in order to do that? What changes do you need to make? What mindset shifts do you need to adjust? So that's what I've been really thinking about and working on. And even like the type of client you want to attract, you may need to make some changes in your branding and how you present your business and all of those things so that you can attract that type of client you're trying to attract. Like maybe when you look at who you're attracting, you're like, okay, I would like to attract this type of client. And it's not adding up with who you see on your books. Well, what changes do you need to make in order to
Yeah.
do
Yeah, that's so important. And it is often easier said than done. You know, you and I, we're coaches, we're people that live in this personal development world. You know, we enjoy the challenge of growth for ourselves. And I'm assuming anyone listening to this podcast is in that same boat. But if you are less, we'll call it less practiced than maybe you or I in this type of realm, I want to just acknowledge that sometimes that is easier said than done, but it is still doable. We are all capable of thinking through that lens of who do I have to become in order to have my business operate the way that I want to operate. Like that person, that version of me, how do they think? How do they make their decisions? How do they, manage their time? How do they manage their relationships? How do they talk to themselves when they go through? And this is not necessarily something that you come up with an answer and then you implement it and then it's a 180 change overnight. It takes time because we have habits, long standing decades and decades worth of a way of doing something, and our brains are not always excited about change. How many people have you heard say, oh, well, I hate change, I just hate, if you're one of those people, stop saying that right now, because you're making change is inevitable in life. And you make it harder for yourself to adapt to change and actually have a better time navigating the change when you're telling yourself the message, I hate change, change is bad. We don't like it because it's like stepping into the unknown kind of a thing. But regardless of that, you can look at the unknown like this scary place, or you can look at it like an adventure. But looking at it that way, I think that also involves having the right support systems in place, having your mentors, having your coaches, having a community, even if you're not investing in a professional in that type of a way, having somebody that does what you do, that understands where you're at, that is focused in that direction, just like you, to help remind you when the old stuff kicks back up, to say, oh, hold on, no, you said that you're going this way. That was the old you talking. This is what you said, you wanted to do, to just help keep you focused so that you can start to make those shifts into that next version of yourself. Like if you're ever in a class with me, I will call it your 2.0 version of yourself. It's not like a different version of you or a better version of you. It's you, but just, with the bug fixes and the upgrades and the shifts and maybe a little bit of different features.
Right. But it requires consistent work. Like one of my favorite quotes is by Zig Ziglar. It says, of course, motivation doesn't last, just like bathing. That's why you do it daily, right?
Yes.
So you have to daily work on yourself. And it can be little things. I always talk about this, but I think a lot of times we want to make like all these changes. Okay, I want to, work on my finances. I want to work on my health. I want to work on this. I want to work on that. And you want to make all these changes. And then when you don't stick to them, you're like, why didn't I stick to them? Well, you have to commit to something. So start with something little. Maybe it could just be something simple that you've been struggling with. It could be like, I want to, I remember I used to need to get to my suite like at least an hour early to prepare and everything. And if I didn't do that, I would be running around with like a chick with my head cut off. But I was always never doing that, never getting there in enough time. So one of the first things I started doing was just like, okay, I have to schedule my appointments and make sure that I'm able to get there early, at least an hour more early, so that I could properly prepare and everything for my clients and everything. And so I just started, that was the first thing I worked on. And eventually, it became a habit and I was always there on time. But it took me a while, like, really trying to work on that. And that was the focus for me, because I just wanted to, be a little not so rushed. And because of the type of service I was provided, the client need to be relaxed. So I need to bring relaxed energy. Yes. And if I'm like running around 10 minutes before they get there, like a chicken with my head cut off, I'm not having the energy that I want to have in my client experience. So, just like, but taking small things and working on them and tackling that. Maybe I want to start journaling. Maybe that's something you want to start doing. You want to start writing out your ideas, or journaling is something you've been thinking about. So work on that first and get consistent with that. You want to start reading, work on that first and get consistent with that. But don't try to take on like so many different things, make so many changes at once, whatever it is in life or in business, whatever you're trying to change, because ultimately we're not going to continue on with it if we try to tackle too many things at once. We're just not built that way. We're just not built that way.
And I think an important partner question to ask yourself when you're saying, okay, what is it that I want to do? Like, what do I want to add into my life? Like using the journaling as an example. I want to start this as a practice. So then the question to ask yourself that goes with that is, what in my life needs to pause or stop in order for me to make room for this new thing? Because so many of us, we tell ourselves, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. And I know life has demands. We have families, we have jobs, we have kids, we have spouses, we have pets, we have all kinds of things. We have, family members that need our attention. But everything, we have this tendency to pile on our plates. And I know this is also a characteristic of women. A lot of women do this too, of like being in that sort of caregiver role or taking on a lot of things and kind of putting our needs and what is going to fill us up last. And so we just say, okay, I want to add in journaling because I think journaling is valuable and healthy for me. It will be a good thing for me. So we try to add it onto an already full plate. So then that takes away the whole experience and the whole point of being able to sit and be present and journal and get the value out of it, because it's one more thing to do. And so your brain sees it as one more task versus if we say, okay, what do I have going on that needs to pause or stop in order to make room for this thing? Because I guarantee you there is plenty of some things that you're doing in your life that is not valuable, that's not helping you move forward, that's arbitrary, that does not need this much time, effort, and energy you maybe just think it does, that can fit in that category of pausing or stopping to make room for this new thing.
I have to do this sometimes. Okay, I don't need to do that right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, what do you need to do right now? Like, especially when I'm trying to get a task done and I'm working on something. I don't know. Sometimes I'll get these weird ideas, and do not judge me, but no, you don't need to wash right now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you can wash later or whatever it may be. But like, it's the weirdest thing. But sometimes I'll just come up with these other tasks that, like you said, I can eliminate so that I could get things done,
Yes.
And one of the things I do that might help people too is like, because I'm a busybody, I have to like task myself. So say whatever I have to work on, I give myself a time limit and try to time myself okay, I need to sit down and do this for at least 25 minutes today, and kind of time myself and be just committed to that thing so that I can be consistent with it and work on it for 25 minutes and make sure I get it done. And setting a timer, helps me stay on task. And at least I know I worked on it. And I try not to allow myself to get off task. So when I start thinking about crazy stuff, I'm like, okay, let me get back on task. I don't need to think about that right now or do that right now. I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
So definitely that too. But I think it's definitely an inside job. Like entrepreneurship is an inside job, and we have to consistently do the work and work on us. And like if whatever, we always require change. We should always be changing, always be evolving and growing. Mm-hmm. And it just requires us to put in that work on ourselves. And when we become a better us, we can provide a better service. And, it all trickles down into everything that we do.
Yes. And so many of us in this industry, like this trait runs through all of the clients that I work with as a coach. This perfectionism, piling up a lot on the plate, this self-imposed pressure to have all the answers right away, all or nothing mentality. And so that comes into play in their personal lives, in their professional lives. Like when we're talking about, how do we adapt our businesses and how are we shifting going forward to be prepared for 2024? and what's coming up, if you are going in it with this mentality of, I have to know it all from the beginning, I have to get it all done, like I have to know all the answers and be able to execute it perfectly, like there's no room for grace for yourself, and your brain is just like spinning at 150 miles per hour, you're going to have the craziest time. And so, like you were saying, that being able to be present enough in the moment, where you have your task and you go to do it, and you can catch yourself if you get off track. And rather than saying, oh my gosh, here I go, getting off track again, and then you just go do the thing that took your attention, you say, hold on, that's not the priority right now. And you bring yourself back to what is the point, what you were meaning to focus on. That's how you change your habits. That's how you change the way that you operate, in your business and in your life. It's like being able to slow down enough to pay attention to, well, what the heck am I even doing? And why am I doing that? Like, I don't even need to go do this right now. I can do this later, or I can do it tomorrow. Everything doesn't have to be done in a day, today, right now,
Right. Say that again. I think a lot of us need to hear that because, and like you said, as women, we feel like that, like it has to get done now, or we are the only ones that can do it. And learning to delegate is something too. I want to talk about, like, what is your experience with that? But I struggled with that in the beginning. Like, I'm getting better, but it was hard to delegate.
Yes. Yeah. I struggled with it for a while. Like, before I moved into my suite, when I was at my other salon, I was in leadership there. And I felt to me, my inability to delegate was connected to this idea that I had to prove something about myself. Like, I had to prove to the team that I was a competent manager, had to prove to my boss that, I could excel in this role, and so on. And so I would tell myself, no, I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it. I can handle it. Now I will outsource and delegate so fast, because to me, the most important, my most valuable asset is my brain and my mind, and my ability to think straight. Because as the CEO of my businesses, from a business perspective, if my head is not on straight, then I'm going to make decisions that, are not high quality decisions, are not in the best interest of me or the best interest of my clients or my business. So what does it take for me to keep my head on straight? And so if that means that on a personal level, I delegate meal prep to my husband who has time to do it, great. Love it. In this season, it works for us. Maybe another season that might change. But for now, this is good, and it balances out the two sides of our lives. He delegates things to me that he doesn't prefer or have time for, and it works for our lives right now. Professionally, because I don't have like an assistant or a VA or anybody that works with me, the delegation to some things, I end up delegating to my clients. Like with online booking, I'm delegating to you your ability to book an appointment. Like, I can book it in the space, but here you go. You can book this online. So we're not spending hours texting back and forth about when they can get in. You have access to the full schedule. You have access to your calendar. You go ahead and you book to your heart's content. And so things like that, where I have really done a lot of work on my need to feel in control of every little piece, to be able to delegate these things out or put it to the side, or and help me prioritize. Because to me, my ability to think straight is the highest priority, and so I'm not willing to compromise that anymore. And it has made a tremendous difference in my entire life as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always, learning to do it more. It's hard at first, but I think definitely, especially as an entrepreneur, there's certain things that, you need to focus on, and some things you can delegate, and wherever you can, try to do it, because, that can eliminate stress and help, ease up things in your life, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we're gonna wrap up here. It's been so great catching up with you, Mariah. But I want to kind of talk about, like, okay, 2024 is like right around a quarter.
right around
What
the
are you
corner.
excited about for the new year?
In my business, I am excited to bring in some new changes with like my protocols, how I'm managing my business. Interestingly enough, I'm excited to take a little bit of a step back. And what I mean by that is have my systems really more automated and clean so that I don't have to have my hands in things like so much on a day to day, so that I can enjoy either more of my own personal time or time focused on my coaching business. That was speaking about the salon suite. So I'm excited to be bringing in new clientele, like opening up some additional marketing strategies and things to invite some fresh faces in. I'm excited to meet some new people in that kind of way and just really lean into the niche that I've picked for myself and just kind of exploring in that way. I'm excited to grow the coaching business as well. I'm still going to focus primarily on the one-on-one, but just shifting into putting that out there a bit more for hairstylists, because I just think that they deserve it. They deserve to have this high touch support for people that give so much of themselves to their clientele, to have the opportunity to be poured into and supported for their business and their lives. I'm really excited to be able to offer that. And then personally, we have some exciting changes coming next year. Our family is growing, so there will be another one of us.
Oh, what? Okay.
Coming.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Coming in the summer. So with that will
Hopefully
be
in July, right?
June.
Have a July baby. Oh, June? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
June.
my daughter was born in June. I guess June is okay.
Yeah. It's not July. I know July is the time. I mean, April would be the best, but no. So yeah, so just looking forward to that part, that whole new chapter, because we don't have any children. This will be our first child. So that we're looking at a possible move. So lots of exciting things on the horizon.
Awesome. That is exciting. And I am so excited for you, Mariah. Oh my gosh, that's great. I would say I'm just excited for a new season of the podcast. I'm going to actually take a few weeks off and kind of like revamp some things, but I'm excited for that. I'm looking to speak more and to travel and to kind of take the podcast on tour. So we're going to be doing more events in 2024, some pop-up events. So hopefully I'll be in a city near you. And I already have a few speaking engagements on the calendar for 2024. So it's my goal to, expand that as well. So I'm just really excited. And I've been talking about making some changes for so long, and I can't believe like BBN is like almost 5 years old.
Wow.
And it's time to kind of make some changes.
Yeah.
So I got some changes that are definitely finally gonna take place. I've been updating things. So I'm super excited about that. And just super excited about life. But I love a new beginning. And so a new year is like a new beginning, but I don't wait to a new year to have a new beginning. I usually start like a new day is a new beginning, a new week. So that's why I usually Monday, that could be a new beginning. So you don't have to wait to the new year to, make any changes. Always continuously work on yourself. And even if you fall off and you find you're not hitting some of your goals, get back up where you got off at. Just get right back up where you got off at. Don't penalize yourself. Just keep going like you never fell off. That's the best advice I could give. And just like for the new year, don't give yourself too many things at once. Start with like maybe 5 goals, 5 things you want to work on this year. Keep it simple and just start finding ways to implement taking action. Because one thing I want to share, I remember for years I would have journals and I am the journal queen. Every time I see a cute journal, I gotta buy it. So that's the whole thing. But I would have these journals and I started to look and I had the same goals, like the same top 3. right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, wait a minute, I got the same top 3 goal year over year. Why is that? Why am I not hitting these goals?
Right.
And when I started to reflect, I was like, wow, you know what? Because I'm not taking any action towards hitting the goals. Like, I'm not actually putting in the work. I'm not
Yeah.
actually doing what I need to do in order to hit these goals. So one year I really noticed I had a very successful year in my life. And I was like, oh my God, things are going well. I made the most money I made in my life. All this stuff has happened. I was like, what was different, Brandy? Like, what did you do differently? And I had to kind of like reflect. And the only thing I did differently was I took more action.
Mm-hmm.
Took more action. I made more phone calls. I sent more emails. I did more of the things that I thought to do. And, you know, some things worked, some things didn't. But because I made so many moves and I planted so many seeds, you know, I had a really great year that year. So
Yeah.
it's just all about actually taking the action steps. So it's not
Yes.
enough just to write it down, put it on the board. You got to do the work.
Yes. You can't just think about taking the actions. That's not enough. And that'll just stress you out. You have to actually follow through on it. And in order to do that, like, you have to be honest with yourself, like to look at that journal and say, oh man, how come this is the same thing year after year after year? What is the deal here? From a curious place, not from a place of like, see, this is why, like, we can't ever get anything done. We're just stuck going in a circle. Like, that doesn't help you do anything. It just makes you feel bad about yourself and about your situation. And when you're talking to yourself, the type of dialogue that's going to move you forward and have you taking action is from that curious place of like, oh man, what is the situation here? What did I do last year? What did I not do? And then realizing, oh, I wasn't taking action. I thought about it. I talked about it, but I didn't follow through on it. That is the piece, the follow through, to be able to look back and say, what did you actually do?
Right. It seems simple, but it seems simple, but
Simple
so
but not
I'm pretty
easy,
sure
right?
I'm not the only person guilty of that. Like, not, like not actually, or even if you start something, but you like, maybe if you look back at the top of 2023, maybe you even started, but did you continuously work on it? And you'd be like, well, why didn't I hit that goal? Because you didn't keep working on it. You started, but you didn't complete it, or you didn't
Yep.
start it at all, or you wrote it down, or you said it, you thought about it a lot,
Yeah.
talked about it a lot, but you actually didn't do anything to get the ball moving. So that's what I wanted to kind of, because I know I'm not the only one who have been there. And
Mhm.
sometimes, like, even though I've overcome it in some areas, I still see it in other areas. So then
Yep.
I have to reevaluate, like, okay, if I really want to do this, I got to take the time to work on X, Y, and Z so I can get it done.
Absolutely. Yeah, because this is your life, right? Like, this is your life. When you're looking at your decisions, like you said, if you fall down, just get right back up and keep going. Don't stay down. Don't let that become the opportunity to uh turn on that narrative in your mind of like, see, this is what happened last year, this is what I did before. Because if you start talking to yourself like that, you will have a repeat of last year. You have to change that soundtrack, like put on a different record, get up and keep going, because you chose these goals for a reason. You chose them, obviously, I'm going to assume, because you think that it's going to be better for you, for your life, for your business, for the future that you want to have. So get up and keep fighting for it. Keep going. It doesn't matter if you trip and fall down. Everybody trips and falls down. It's just the people that get back up and keep going, and who are willing to trip and fall down again, maybe at some point, but knowing they can get up and keep going.
Amen to that. Well, we're going to wrap up here. It's been absolutely great. I hope you were able to get something out of this. It was really awesome chatting with you today, Mariah. I do agree we need to do this more often. So Mariah and I are going to figure that out.
Yes,
How we can, do, maybe even if we just do these once a month, I think it would be great for
yeah,
sure. But let us know what you think. Connect with us. I'll have all of the information in the show notes. And have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Happy holidays to everybody. And make sure that you subscribe to the Business Beauty Network podcast. And Mariah, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, just get ready for 2024. Decide ahead of time that it's going to be a great year and you get out and get after it. And of course, you can reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram. Like Brandy said, she'll put it in the notes. Cause I'm here to help you, whether that's all the way in one-on-one coaching or whether that's just a one-off, like, hey girl, this is what I'm dealing with today. You can do that. I'm here for you. So please hit me up, reach out. But beyond that, have a happy, safe, healthy holiday season, and we'll see you in the next year.
Awesome. As always, stay great, and we're out. Bye.